So the question is, you know, the city of San Bernardino, you know, it's in bankruptcy right now. It's bankruptcy court. You know, it's dealing with its creditors. You know, how to deal with that.
Right.
And so, my question to you, how do you? And also, by the way, also wanted to mention Mayor Pat Morris. You know, in his State of the City, in his last one, he mentioned that he predicts in his numbers that the city within 10 years, if it doesn't, you know, act now, that's going to be suffering from about a $300 million deficit.
And that might be a small number, actually. Not small, but it may be bigger than that.
So my question to you is, how do you see the city more effectively working its budget? Should it be concerned more with cutting costs or focusing more on tax revenue?
Well, first of all, I stated last night, and I don't support more taxes. I don't. I think the people are taxed way too high already. And so I don't support that. Now, if the public wants to get something, an initiative together and raise taxes on themselves, that's fine. But I don't want to be a part of that. I believe that efficiency is the answer, and I don't believe in cutting either, or cutting our way out of the problem. I don't believe we can police our way out of an issue. I don't believe we can cut our way out of an issue. I don't believe we can spend our way out of an issue. I don't believe we can tax our way. It's got to be a balance of all those things together. With regard to taxes, until we've got everything else in order and we're operating efficiently, and we've right sized rather than cutting. Let's talk about the term right sized. If we've got 150 cops and only need 100, that's the right size for this to deliver that service. If we've got 400 cops and we only need 300, that's the right size. That's not cutting. That's being right about it. If we've got 50 employees and we don't, but if we had 50 employees in community development or planning, and we could contract all that out, then maybe and do it for half the cost, then maybe we should be looking at that. We need to be looking at every single department and making sure that we're efficient. And until we do that, and I've met with the business community and they've told me, you get those things under control, and if we still need to talk about taxes, we'll talk about them. So I'm adamant about taxes. But with revenues, we have fees, and we recover costs, and we bill people for things. We need to make sure we're collecting on everything that's a legitimate bill. And I don't know what the numbers are on what we're not collecting, but we need to take a look at that and make sure that we're collecting what we're owed. We may need to make sure that our fees are competitive with surrounding. I'm talking about development fees and things like that. We did go through, and in an effort to incentivize the development community and the building community a few years back, because we were going through that downturn and there were no permits being taken out, no commercial development or housing development, building, we cut our fees in half. Well, it was great, it sounded great, it didn't matter. We could have cut them to zero because that wasn't what was stopping them from building. It was the overall picture of the economy. So our cut in fees would have helped them, but it wasn't enough to incentivize them to build a development that wasn't going to sell. So, like I say, if the fees had been zero, they still wouldn't have come in and built 30 homes because they weren't going to sell in that particular down market. So we've got to be looking at all those kinds of thinking out of the box in terms of how we are efficient. We've got to utilize technology better. I'm an old guy that's not really that conversant or I don't know that much about technology. I've got a Facebook page, but I don't really know much about it. I'm able to do email and a few things like that, but I'm not computer literate particularly. But we've got the people, and the young people do that. And we've got to be reaching out to Cal State, for example. That can be a cost savings. There's people out there that can get credits for working on internships, and I don't know how much of that we're doing. And I think we need to do more of that. So somebody that right now is maybe an officer inside the police department that really is a sworn officer that maybe should be on the street, maybe we can have an intern doing the job that he's doing inside, because we weren't able to hire some of the CROs, I think it's called service or community service, I can't remember what the acronym is, but it's an unsworn person that works inside or goes out and takes reports and does things like that, that saves the sworn officer to be able to respond to those calls. It's just efficiency. It's being smart about how we do it. And unfortunately, government in general has not been an efficient animal. It has not operated with the profit motive like a private business does. If private business operated the way government operates, there'd be no business, because you couldn't stay in business, because you can't operate, you can't spend more, you can't cost more than your competitors. And government needs to be efficient. And so those are the kinds of things that I'd be promoting and partnering with other agencies and trying to get more bang for our buck through working together.
Thank you.